Hey all, welcome to the Drums and Rums, where the backbeats meets the spirits. We are tuning in here tonight on our Thursday. We call it Friday Eve. We call it many things. Again, we're a day closer to the weekend, and we got a great guest here tonight joining us on a happy hour. And again, if you were hanging out with us just before we went live on our the drum premiere of our recent podcast that dropped earlier this week, then I appreciate you for checking it out. And let's just get right to this here because okay, let me welcome to the let me welcome again to this show here. So founder of Pedro Mandinga Rum is Christiane, and she's gonna pronounce her name for me because I don't want to screw it up. So welcome to the show there. Welcome to the happy hour, Christiane. How you doing?
Hi, Paul. So nice to be with you. Thanks a lot. Yeah, my last name, if you want me to say it, is Silberwasser.
Okay. There you go. Thank you. I was like, I don't want to screw the name up here. And again, I was
No.
listening, I was listening to you and Nia in the podcast. And again, I was sitting here in the room when we were taping it. And I was like, man, I love you. So where exactly is your accent? Is it South, Panamanian? You got a little, where's your accent?
Well, actually, I'm kind of a funny. I have a funny background. I was born in Nicaragua, but I was raised in Arizona. My father was 100% German, and my mother's a funny American. So I'm a little bit from everywhere and a lot from nowhere. And my husband's Colombian. Therefore, I we have our we've done all of our companies in Latin America.
Got it. Okay. So you speak Spanish pretty fluently then.
Yeah, I speak Spanish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My two daughters were born down there too, so I'm super connected to Latin America.
Yes. So again, thank you for taking your time this evening to join us again. I know we put you through an hour's worth, a week or so ago to tape the podcast with, Nia's podcast takeover, which she did. Let's give it a big applause there, a big shout out there to Nia for holding down the podcast there. I'm worried now because I think I might be out of a job. I think Nia's going to be taking over the Drums and Rums podcast. But Nia, we can always do another podcast. There's always plenty of room to do more content, of course. So just saying it. But yeah, thank you, Christiane, again for joining us on the live premiere of the podcast there just before we went live here. And yeah, a lot of it's great to great a few folks had tuned in there. Tony from Outer Banks Distilling there. That you guys had met at the My Rum Congress. It's great to kind of meet people and then still stay connected, and you never know where things may go, and connections, and sometimes down the road. That's what I always say about the this thing that I do is it's a community as well. It's an alum, as I call it, right, when we did the rapid fires. And again, somewhere down the road somebody says, hey, do you know so and so, or do you have a name for this or that? And it's a great to be able to connect these people that I know are very eclectic, because I'm not in one particular niche of solely just spirits or rum. There's a little bit of music. Again, we talked about that on the podcast, right? Of course, you got to have music when you're drinking rum, right? Yeah, that's the whole part of the whole experience, right?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I love that. And I love that about your podcast. I think it's really a cool differentiator. It's really fun.
Yeah, so I know I'm not like the extreme rum side of the house, but again, trying to have a good time, trying to be positive, as you mentioned a little bit ago, was we just want to hang out, right? That's all about. As my wife will say, I'll probably talk to anybody, and probably talk to the wall, and have a good conversation, I guess. So she just says, I just don't know when to shut up. So so again, thanks for everybody for tuning in here. So again, like we said, this is our podcast for international. I think I may have been corrected today. Actually, I think I've been calling it wrong. I know yesterday was International Women's Day, and I think the month is International or Women's History Month. But I've been calling it International Women's Month, which I don't know. I don't know. Is there a
I
difference?
like it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
I agree with that. I agree with that statement. I think we should make it a
yeah.
month.
Yeah, why? I mean, there's all sorts of, yeah. Why not celebrate the whole? See, I was gonna post something yesterday saying, guys, if you don't want to spend the money on Valentine's Day getting your girl or your significant other expensive flowers on Valentine's Day, get them flowers on International Women's Day.
Yeah, I like that. And it was so interesting this past Valentine's Day, because we celebrate Valentine's Day also in Panama. It was so interesting that we were really full. In previous years, maybe Valentine's Day wasn't such a big event,
Mm,
but in our rum bars, a lot of couples went out to have cocktails instead of like the traditional, maybe either before or after dinner, but it was a
right.
really good day. Yeah.
Oh, that's yeah. I mean, yeah. Why not? That's it's. I mean, there should be no real reason to have to go and celebrate or enjoy yourself. Or I mean, I know we always get hung up on certain dates and things, and like coming up here next week is St. Patty's Day, and that's whenever right, everyone becomes Irish, right? And people that are not even close to looking like Irish, there, everyone just falls into it. Or Cinco de Mayo, everybody is celebrating, the independence, Mexico, and so
We need a rum holiday.
you're onto something. You are onto
Right?
something.
Whiskey is St. Patrick's.
Yep. Okay.
Tequila is Cinco de Mayo. We
Yep.
need a rum one.
We have to work now. Now, here's the thing. Rum. Maybe we got time to work on this because rum is there's a rum day and a rum month, and that's in August. I think August
Right.
15th might be rum, an International Rum Day, and I
Hmm.
think Rum Month is also in August too. And guess
I
who's
just like to call it rum year.
well, and guess whose birthday is in August?
Yours.
I'm the first. I'm the
Yes.
first of the month. Oh,
That's awesome.
I just gave away confidential information. Now somebody's gonna go open up a credit card with my birth date now, but you don't know what year I was born though. That's the
Yeah. Now I'll send you a bottle of rum for your birthday. I'll write it
oh
down
hold
for a
on.
birthday gift.
Yeah, there you go, Christy. I think I got it right this time. I always get screwed up. How do you do it? Yeah, is that it? Heart hands?
That's
Yeah,
good.
there.
That's good. I see it. I see the
Okay.
heart.
So, all right. So, thanks everybody for hanging out there in the chats there, tuning in again. If you got questions for Christiane, again, if you missed the live premiere of the video, or if you haven't heard the podcast yet, go back and listen to it again. It's out there. A great conversation. Nia had great questions. We learned there again. There's always in all these guests that we have on. There's always seems to be a history, and I always explain I always love the history part because I'm thinking of closet history, and then that's what you kind of talked about a little bit, Christian, was that you love hit the history, kind of a little bit of history fan as well too, and I think it was an interesting story. Now I told you the little side because we're gonna get to drinking. Don't worry, guys. I know you're already started on me, and I've already kind of that's why I probably should have started drinking first and then try to get all this computer stuff going. But did you? I mentioned or sent you an email last week was when we were chatting back and forth that there was a team, a robotics team that came up from Panama. And I think the name of their team was Pizza Bites, right? So these kids are building a robot. So basically, from the first week of January to last weekend, they built a robot, programmed it, and all these things. And that's the amount of time that they had. Now they were also short 2 weeks because they had to create the robot and send it up here and so on and so forth. So they were, I was chatting with them a little bit and they were, kind of asking some so they were like a newer team and I'm like, this is really cool. These robotics events that my boys are in high school, teams coming from South America, Central America, Canada, and all over and competing. And it's a you don't get too heavy into like crazy like sports competition, where like you're trying to kill the other person, but there's a lot of good cooperation in the pit area, helping each other out and the kids, so it's really great to see because they're going to be the ones programming all these robots that are going to take over the world, and so, so so all right, so let's get to this kid. I think we've got. I know we're definitely going over our 30 minutes tonight, so which is fine because that's all on me. So I all owe you some overtime money because I know we're gonna go way over on overtime, but I think we're gonna have to open this up here. So I received a little bit of a package the other day, and it came from our guest here. So I'm gonna go over real quick, and hopefully, hopefully y'all, get a little jealous because that's what we want. We just want you guys to check out these products here. So first was we can read this first, is the Pedro Mandinga rum, the cacao, and wow, I'll tell you, wow, the cacao. Yeah, there we go. Um, that was really yummy, and real. It was. it was like, man, I'm like, it's very, it's got a great chocolate feel. Break out our glasses here.
It's like dessert, right?
Yeah, right. Not not too much, but it's just enough. Yeah, that's a great way to say is it's definitely a good dessert rum. Now, I was really wanting tonight to was to make a cocktail, but one is maybe I don't think I was hit the translate button on the Google Chrome page there to read the recipes. Um, and I'd had trouble. I'm like, I don't know if I can get some of these recipes. So Nia, you're gonna have to help me out finding some of these ingredients here. So, um, but I think I had to translate some. I'm like, oh, oh, that's just orange juice in translation. Yeah, this is real tasty.
I think the trick is to not over sweeten it. I know, you can, everybody can always, especially if you're talking about doing a cocktail, you can always adjust the sweetness to your level. So, I mean, I think that's
There you go for those folks. Now again, if you listen to the video there, uh, they talked about you know you're not in the states yet,
yeah.
but you're going to be, I guess, next up is Europe, though, right?
Yeah, we have a really yeah, there is a franchise who would like to open up a franchise in Europe
Oh,
of a rum bar. So at that point, then we'll export the rum. But we do have the states, obviously, like I said, also in the chat that we in I think in 2017 we did try to get to the states. It was just difficult because we were just so young then. So I do think in the near future we'll try it again, and I promise you'll be the first to know.
exclusive. So actually, they had a question. It was about the Europe tie-in. Are you? Is it there's something involved with opening a bed and breakfast or some type of hotel or something?
Oh yeah, I have a little a very small boutique hotel in Umbria, right between Rome and Florence,
Okay.
where we make olive oil too.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Man, you got it all there. So
No, but
is the
it's definitely and actually in our bar there are we're all about craft spirits and local spirits. We even have I mean there are no rums,
mhm.
obviously that we don't have any Italian rums, but we have like an Italian gin and even an Italian vodka. Sorry, I used the word that you don't like.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. At least you didn't use the B word. No, it's all good. And that's why the happy hour show, there's a lot more leniency on just not so much rum, because it gives you a little chance to kind of take a little a step outside the guardrails and again, have a good time and so forth. So yes, I do mainly rum, of course, but yet, we can kind of delve a little bit of time into some of those other areas. So like our segment that we talk about, our Florida Man segment, we actually do had speaking of Florida Man, you're familiar as we talked on the podcast, as you do have started off with making beer. So you're familiar then with Cigar City Brewing in Tampa.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then they have their one beer called Florida Man.
Uh-huh.
Yep. So we kind of based our Florida Man stories on the Florida Man beer and so forth. But I was really hoping Cigar City was going to pay attention and notice that we were doing the segment called Florida Man, and we were drinking a Florida Man beer and all that. But obviously it didn't take off. So I don't know. Maybe we'll come back to it at some some point.
Well, I think you're very creative, and I think it's a great idea.
Thank you. So all right. So tuning in there. So hey, how you doing, Jason, the River Pirate, tuning in there? Oh, okay. So there you go. So he's looking for. I could go for a Greek salad with a swig of rum. So there you go. So yeah. So if you need any oil there for your salad, Jason, then Christiane's got the hookup, right? You got rum and olive oil, right?
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's actually really cool to do fat washing with olive oil.
You're gonna have to explain what that means because I don't think it means what I think it does.
I don't want to ask what you think it is.
You don't want? Well, wait, is it after hours yet?
No, it's just when you're like infusing a spirit with a fat. Traditionally, obviously, it started. I guess the trend started with bacon with bourbons,
Hmm,
but I do it with olive oil, and you can do it with like our silver rum would be cool to do that with, preferably like a spirit that doesn't have very much taste. Um, I don't want to use the V word again, but but
it's
yeah,
okay.
spirit with no taste, which
Yeah.
would be vodka. But but fat washing with olive oil is a really cool, especially with a new oil, with a new olive oil, like a extra virgin, obviously.
Got it.
It gives a really cool flavor profile, like we do in. Anyway, yeah, it's a fun, it's a cool thing.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, you could just imagine. Well, I know you just we just kind of started making each other's acquaintance. So I know you may not know how far my sarcasm will go. So I just gotta be careful. Don't scare you off.
You're also, I won't send you the bottle for your birthday.
Oh, that's there. Yes, that's right. That's right. So yeah, we got to work on that. We got to work on some rum event there. So for definitely. So yeah. So it says ahoy, Paul. This olive oil rum sounds healthy. Yes, I- it is. I I need to get some because I need to. Yes, that's why I thought that's why I thought it was fat washing. So no, no, you're not supposed to wash with it.
No, no.
No,
So
no.
but it's a really simple process. Anybody can do it at home. You just put your spirit, let's just say a white rum, and then you put the olive oil, you infuse it over you. I mean, I do over 24 hours, and then you freeze it. And when you freeze it, the oil separates from the spirit, and then you just take the olive oil off, but it leaves the flavor of the olive oil in the spirit.
Oh, okay, okay. That's
Yeah.
yeah. It's amazing stuff. I mean, I do make a little bit of, um, and I don't know if one of our normal viewers is in the chat, but because she's gonna probably kill me because I haven't sent her the vanilla yet. But I have do make some vanilla, and and I've made it with rums from folks that have been on the show and guests and and again kind of make it a little bit of. I know most companies do make their own vanilla it's easy enough. And it's like, well, let me do something. This is part of again this community of different rums that that we've had on, and we've again in a promotion, and kind of grow everybody together. So on the next batch, I might have to make some Pedro Mandinga vanilla.
I mean, and it's cheaper too than buying vanilla from the store. I do my own vanilla infusion as well.
Okay, so that might be on the right. All right, so let's see. Oh, so we got a lot of people that are perked up about this fat washing here. So hold on, let's see here. Let's catch up here. So that's really interesting. I may have to try that. Simple enough for this pirate to attempt. Okay, so there. Are we still talking about the fat washing? Or are we talking about vanilla? So I'm not sure because I'm trying to keep up in the chats here. But again, so yeah, so if you're watching this on YouTube, yeah, don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe. Again, if you want to be a Patreon member, that'd be really cool to join us. Again, we did drop a little bit of an exclusive uh, update on Patreon for those who are about an upcoming excursion. I'll leave it at that. And what else? And then also the bingo, right? So we do bingo. Christiane, we do bingo every month, once a month, and on the happy hour show, and so it's an online virtual bingo, and again it's gotten sometimes very competitive, and in the chats there, and people yelling at me because I'm not picking their number. It's typical bingo. Fights are breaking out, and and all sorts of craziness. And again, we just try to, it's all part of is as I always say, is helping. Again, usually I was explaining it was we're growing the community, growing brands, and I appreciate free stuff, but it's if it's another hat or shirt or whatever, it's just we'll kind of send it out through this show, and probably everybody likes free stuff, right? And so if somebody's wearing a XYZ brand hat and they're in Montana, again it's a way to kind of like the shirts, as talked about. I've had guests all over the world now that wear those shirts. That I know that somebody's walking around wearing my shirt in Australia, or Singapore, and things like that. So I always think that's a cool thing. So that's all part of some of the little giveaway packages for some of the guests here. So, but again, Siri, our good fan Siri, she's not in the chat. I haven't seen her yet. I know she's gonna kill me because I owe her this vanilla. She's the first customer of it. So, and she does a lot of baking, and she's already warned me that she's running out of her vanilla. So I'm surprised she's not in the chat berating me about getting it out to her. So I have it. I just gotta package it all anyway. So story of my life. So and also the shirts too. The shirts I owe all the guests that I've got to catch up. So I'm way behind on a lot of stuff. So I got to stop. If I could only quit my day job, but that keeps everything else. So let's see here. So the River Pirate, very interesting painting in the background, Christiane. What kind of truck is that, and what is it carrying? Oh,
Oh, that's a brewery that we started in Bogota called Bogota Beer Company. And that was an old Ford. Don't ask me the year, but we used to. My husband and I, we started the brewery together, and we used to deliver the kegs that way in the old Ford. So it became our logo, and then we also had a lot of our facades. We would have a local graffiti artist um, spray paint the facades, and then as a gift, we sold the brewery, but he gave us this as a gift. And then I have those. I don't know if you can see those are little illustrations of the Rana Dorada, which is the brewery I talked about in the podcast.
mm. So Philip, you're gonna have to explain your comment there a little bit because I'm trying to follow this. So he says she's gonna stripe those legs. All right, Philip, you're gonna have to explain yourself on that one because I'm not quite sure what you're meaning here, bro. She's gonna stripe those legs. So,
Maybe I know the legs on the glass. There we
oh,
go.
there we go, there we go. Okay.
There we go.
So, all right, so we're gonna open up real quick here the other lovely gift that I got here from Christian. This is the geisha coffee here. So you heard about Nia talk about this one on the podcast there. And you heard if you listened to the audio or the video, you heard me in the background talking about this. Like again, just got the right amount of coffee flavoring. Um, again, is there any cocktails, Christian, that you make with um okay, now I get what he's saying. Okay, I'll come back to it. With the cacao and the coffee.
Yeah, so we'll do more like for both of them, we'll do more of an after dinner cocktail. So obviously tending on the sweeter. But I've got this really cool mixologist who's he likes to think out of the box. So right now he actually did with the cacao, he did like a spicy. It's almost uh like a spicy finish in with the cacao, which is a really cool combination, the spicy with the chocolate. So yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
the,
I had some. It's always spice. Spicy chocolate. I had like a hot
more like a
chocolate.
Mexican.
Yeah, yeah, just enough. All right, let.
Mexican in Mexico, it's really popular.
There you go. There you go.
I heard that pop.
We're popping bottles here, folks, tonight, Friday Eve.
Yeah, in Spanish, you call, well, at least in Colombia, you call Thursday night jueves, which is the leading up to viernes, which is Friday,
Mhm.
which is the big party night of the week. But in Colombia, jueves is jueves, so it's like you said, Friday night eve.
Oh, oh,
It has its
I'm gonna
special
try. I'm
voice.
gonna try to get that sound out of my mouth here. Wait. No, see, I'm already trying to think of huevos, so that's already screwed. I've already screwed it up, so because I can't get that out of my head now. So, oh my god,
Jueves,
yeah,
jueves. It's a
jueves,
like jueves.
where
Uh-huh.
oh, like
Exactly.
where nez. Okay.
There's even a song with it. If you can look it up on Mr. Music. There's
Hey,
a
the guest
cool
the guest
there's
can't
a
be harassing me.
No, 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 it's a Latin song, but I'm saying you would like this. But
Okay.
there's a song called Jueves. I can't remember the name of the singer. I wonder if I can ask my
Is it
daughter really
so? Is it
quickly.
Columbia? Is it? You said it's Colombian that song.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. It
Okay.
might be Puerto Rican.
Okay.
Err.
Oh, okay.
Who? Hold on. I'm
Okay.
gonna text my daughter
Okay.
really quickly.
All right. So,
Who's
all right. So I'm gonna. Okay. So Philip has explained himself in his comments there, and what he was referring to was Siri, our good super fan, and he was just commenting that uh she was gonna basically she's gonna beat me up, I guess, or whatever. She's gonna stripe those legs, I guess, swipe the legs. Maybe that you meant to say. But then he explained himself saying, "Siri is going to whoop you and make you cut the switch." Wow. So do you understand? Do you get that reference?
No, I don't, but I feel like she's gonna be mad at you.
Yes, she's gonna be mad at me. She's gonna be so mad at me that I'm so in trouble that it's a southern term, and that basically that you're I guess it goes way back, is you used to beat people with a stick. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, Phillips. Make sure I'm not getting saying it wrong. But yeah, so you would be basically whipped or beaten or whatever, and I guess it's so bad that you're so in trouble that you're not only going to get hit with it, you also actually go get your own switch, which is what they would call, like a not
Whip.
even like a bamboo, but like a real thin branch, that gets that
Yeah.
whipping, kind of sound. Yeah. So I'm not looking forward to that, Philip.
I think you should run.
Yes. Yeah. It's a good thing she doesn't live close by. Philip, take one for the team for me up there, since you both are up in Tennessee. So all right. So let me try the coffee here. So, and I think this is what Nia was talking about, was she was she puts a little bit in her coffee, I think she said, right? Yeah, it's got a really great flavor, that coffee taste, and again, it's not too overpowering of the flavor. So, and again, it's got good mouthfeel, and I think that's what I mentioned um on the podcast when I was sitting there behind the scenes there. I know everyone's just kind of sitting and watching me drink. So, all right. So
I
Phillips.
know. I feel badly in that not everybody can have it.
So, so we have to send out there. Well, let's put a pin on that. I've been sitting on a thought for a while about something, some sort of, we'll just call it sampling opportunities, and then uh, like I said, let's put a pin in it. Like I said, this is all bringing all these different guests together, who are all, whether they're a small company or a craft company, or maybe they're not distillers, or anyway, anyone, somebody who has a product in general, however theirs is made, however, and I've thought about something similar like that, is try to, you know, herd the cats, and try to, and if everyone's cool with kind of playing together, and, opportunities, and again, what would we say? I think on the podcast was 50% of the market is two big companies. Everyone else is fighting over the other 50%, right? So, yeah, but all right. So Philip says, you've you've never had a switch taken to you and whip you like a belt, but make you go cut your own switch to be whipped with. Okay. So, no, I have never had a whip or switch put on. I've had a belt, yes. And this has turned into such a weird just happy hour now. All right, so let's see what we got coming out here next. Let me see what we got here. We've got a few things here we're going to go through, and our story. I think we're going to switch over here. So let's do this first, Christiane. I've got to do a little bit of housekeeping, but I want to open up. I think I was going to wait, but I was wanting to open up this one.
Oh yeah, that's a special one. I don't think I gave that one to Nia. That's
So
a special one.
yeah,
That's actually the one I'm drinking.
okay. So
But I don't have a bottle anymore. I only have it in my little flask.
isn't she cool? She gave away her last bottle here to sent it here. Now I feel really bad.
No, no, I wanted to give it to you.
Uh,
I This is why I have little flasks.
Okay. So I have to say we talked about this on the podcast there. And again, I'll try to get in real close on the camera, but if you look at the camera here, I mean, you really look at the detail, and both me and I do, we do subscribe to, you know, about the packaging. And of course, we know that packaging can be, you know, you know, a hit and miss, but again, I think that, so Christiane, I'm gonna explain to you what when I was looking at this the other day when I opened up the box and everything came in. First thing that came to mind about this was looking at this box, looking at all the different things, reading different things, is it's like one, I don't think it's this, but like a kid who's eating cereal, sitting at the table before phones, cell phones, they're reading the cereal box, right? When they're sitting at the table. But what hit me more was like you're sitting there and before the internet, before cell phones and all these things, and you're in your room, put your headphones on, listening to the record. And you've got this album cover, all the inside parts, the jacket, the sleeves, the lyrics, the notes, and whatnot. And you're just sitting there listening to the music, and you're just kind of looking at everything that's in that on that album, that vinyl, and you're listening to it. This is exactly how when I saw this, that's exactly my thought was exactly that experience.
That's awesome.
So I
Thank
yeah,
you.
I know it might be weird reference, but just looking, I said everything. It's like something like I'm sure I look at this the graphic on it, and I'll have to post a better, like higher quality picture because this is like looking at the tree, looking at all the animals that are in there. I mean, it's something I think you probably every time you look at it, you probably see something different on this box. So it's really cool. So it's definitely cool
I'm glad
design.
you I'm glad you appreciate it. The whole principle of it was to bring to life the actual, like, if you look on the geisha and the cacao,
Hmm.
that this is our traditional ceiba tree, which is always on our label. But with the casco viejo that you showed, the whole idea was to bring to life the ceiba tree and the jungle of Panama. So every single animal that's on it, you can see the panther, you can see there's a little golden frog, you can see lizards, there's a sloth in the tree, there are capuchin monkeys, there's there are the birds that are there. They're all native animals and fauna to Panama, and the whole idea was just to kind of really bring the ceiba tree to life. And you can see kind of in since
Yep.
you love history, you can even see like the little stairway, the stairs that are part of the story, right? That go up into that they use to climb the tree. Yeah, so you can really, it brings it to life. That was the idea of it.
Yeah, no, and again, I was just turning the box around there. It's like, oh look, there's I think it's a parrot, or there's probably a better term for it on the back, and then okay, there's a toucan.
Uh-huh.
Again, like I said, there's you could sit in and look at this bottle and just like just kind of find something different or reread it, and here's a story there talks about Brad always used to end his day with a dram of rum.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, this is really cool. It's and
Yeah.
that's it's there was a similar. Sorry, Nia, I'm going to open this up now. There's a similar story of a company in New Orleans. I think maybe one of the oldest current running rum distillers makers, uh, called Celebration Distillery, or they make a product called Old New Orleans Rum. And
Uh-huh.
the owner of the company was an artist or into art. And on the inside of the bottle label, so it would be this label, right? I mean, your outside label, front label,
Mhm.
but on the back of that front label, as the bottle emptied, you'd see this artwork that was on the backside of the label. I was like, that's actually pretty unique. So it's always interesting, folks that are doing a little bit different things, going that little extra mile, right?
I think Bayou rum does that too. If
Okay.
I remember correctly. Yeah, it's really amazing when exactly what you explained, that on the back of the inside of the label it has another artwork. I'm pretty sure it's Bayou.
So by all right, so here we go. Uh-oh.
Oh no, that's embarrassing.
Sorry.
That's really embarrassing.
Sorry, I didn't mean
Oh no, I'm sorry.
it's
You know
okay.
what happens? It's the humidity in Panama. We have such high
Uh
humidity. Maybe because that one I brought just straight from Panama. Sorry. Oh
yeah.
no, that's so
No, I
embarrassing.
don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I've already
I'm so embarrassed
oh, I'm
now.
sorry, Christiane.
Look, I literally have another. I can send you.
Oh man. Oh, now you feel so bad now. So
Now look at how red I am. I was so
I'm so terrible. I'm like I'm never doing anything with these guys ever again. This is the worst experience.
that's something that really happens.
No, but I look, I get it. I mean, we live in Florida, so I mean, I understand humidity and all those things. So, all right,
Yeah,
so
Panama is like Florida on steroids with humidity because the our distillery we have no air conditioning. I'm trying to change the subject. So you're and like, can you not do that in front of everyone? I'll send
oh,
you a.
look at that pop. That was a good pop.
I'm so embarrassed.
Um,
I'll send you a. I literally have one, an extra one as we speak, right in my hand. I'm sorry.
I don't. It's Christiane, as as we continue our friendship and and whatever, you will find it will take a lot to offend me and upset me. So all is good. So again,
Well, as you can see, it takes very little to embarrass me. So
so
I'm
we're
very.
the exact opposites.
I know.
So well so again the so I've got calls for corkscrew that thing out and Sean said that's all
I
Paul's
can't think.
fault. It's all Paul's fault as usual. I think you guys were blaming me earlier. So, but you know what?
Oh,
Here we go.
yeah, yeah. At least the cork stayed in, right? It could
Yeah,
have
no,
crumbled.
that's the important part. Yes.
So this is this is a this is a blend. So because obviously we're only 7 years old and we don't have aged drum, this is a blend that we did with Consorcio Licores Nacional with maybe some of you know Don Pancho. He's
Mhm.
really famous in Panama.
Yep.
So we did this blend with him, and it's a mix of I think 15 to 21-year-old rums. There's no back sweetening. It's just the rums.
Wow, this is tasty. You can taste, yeah, taste that wood. Mm. This is definitely something I bet, there's a lot of stories I hear where uh, bourbon drinkers are convinced they're drinking bourbon and
Mm.
it's, they're like, "Oh, this," it's like, "No, that's you drinking rum." And of course, they get all upset because they think they're experts and so forth. And you know,
Well, Nia will probably remember more than I will the numbers, but they were talking about how there's a percentage of whiskey drinkers who are switching over to aged rums now.
mm,
I don't know if Nia's online. I can't see the messages, but
no, I didn't see her in the chat. I think she may have dropped, and I think there was another thing going on
oh, okay.
tonight.
I just can't remember the numbers, but
Yeah,
they were specifically talking what you're saying about whiskey drinkers switching over to rum.
right. Yeah, that is really that's really tasty.
It was fun. It was fun tasting all the samples.
Right. It's so this is you said this was made of the same. So how many other distillers are there in Panama? So obviously we know Don Pancho and that whole operation that they've got right there. They're making a lot of rum for a lot of different people, right?
Yeah. Actually, do you the book, I actually have one in I have one in the other room.
Well, Nia's calling
It
me out now. She said it's party foul. Now she's now party foul, Paul.
I I think they're like three big rum distilleries, and they're very and we were the first kind of artisanal distilleries. Why I'm always saying brewery. Now I'm so nervous about the bottle top. I can't even talk. But
Oh,
they're three they're three large distilleries, and they're very and so we were one of the first artisanal distilleries, so we're super small. But yeah, licores Consorcio de Licores Nacionales is um they do for example, so this blend for example is just for us. We created it with them, so it's just ours.
okay.
But they also do, what is it, Selva Ray? You know
Okay.
Selva Ray?
Yep. Yep.
So they do Selva Ray. They do a couple of other rums that people can get in the United States.
Yeah,
But
they're
it's
so this is one that these guys were at the Miami Rum Renaissance in November
okay.
event. It was
Rum Rats. I like the name. That's
so
awesome.
so they're right. So they're I guess the product is homage to Arco Seco.
Okay. Okay. Yep. Yep.
So I guess that I guess the area that they made it, but it they did talk about the same thing as they worked with Don Poncho and who's the other gentleman? Poncho and one other guy. But Poncho was at the Miami Rum Renaissance Festival.
Yeah. He's a great guy. Super well respected.
So so yeah, all right. So now they're wow, they're really giving me shit, Christiane. Wow. I didn't mean to. I now I feel real bad. Like I said, I do.
I can't get. I'm still super red. I can't get to my normal color.
Oh my
I
god.
don't think I don't think the rum is helping me. I always get red when I drink rum.
Oh,
Also, it's the it's the German blood in me. No,
rum.
it's actually the English blood in me.
There you go. Yes, yeah. Because if you're German, right? Yeah, R-
Germans can drink,
yeah.
but
Rum e rojo or ron e rojo. Red rum. Red. Oh yeah, red rum. Red rum, like from The Shining. Red rum. That's right. There we go. Or murder backwards. Oh my gosh. So yeah. So that now Sean's trying to tell me is Nia for that he needs a shot of Stro 160. Too bad, Sean. I don't have Stro 160. I watch too much of the Just Drinking show on Wednesday nights. There, Roger and Cole, and they've got a bottle. Now I have no interest in Stro 160. So that's apparently is the punishment rum that is made. People are made to drink. I guess if they are punished. So I guess is it really punishment? Is it really considered punishment for that? So all right. So Nia, I swear I'm going to save you some. So that's why I will get you to cut a little bit of this here. So but yeah, this is Christian. This is I mean real great stuff. I mean I love. Truth be told, I love talking to folks like you, the craft, the smaller brands, the smaller companies. Again, it's a mom and pop feel. There's more family aspect of it. The care of the product is not such corporate or too big. And again, we all know businesses want to grow and make money, etc. But I just that's a part I always love. And there's a couple here in Florida, that are craft. They make their own products there. Very family, focused. Real salt of the earth people. They're happy to be. They're happy with what they do, right? Are they expecting to be billionaires, making rum and all these things? Yeah, it would be great if somebody came by and wanted to buy you out like a. It almost seems like there's a lot of people that I hear that from is that have probably more so that are brand owners as opposed to ones that make the rum themselves.
yeah, there's a huge difference.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So let me speaking of the distillery. So the let's go now since we're not solely just a rum show on the happy hour. Your beer products. Is that available in Miami?
No, yeah, our beer is actually more local than our rum, because our whole thing is a beer should be like fresh bread. That I mean, you wouldn't. I prefer to buy a fresh bread that's from a bakery rather than a bread that's been uh, sitting on a shelf for a long time. And I think that our whole principle with our beer is that it should also be
A
super
Tampa woman
local.
was honored for
And
her
at the
bravery.
beginning, when
Nashali
we were starting
Alma
out, we
caught
didn't even have,
national attention when she fought off a man
tomatoes, and
attacking her in the
we had
gym
to
in her
keep the
apartment
cold chain.
complex.
We didn't
Surveillance
do any
cameras recorded all of
pasteurization
it.
for the beer.
She
So
fought him
so
for
now
8 minutes before he gave up. And today she was honored by the Hillsborough County Sheriff's
it's
Office.
bigger
They
and
awarded
we
her with the
do
very first
pasteurize the beer,
Strength
but
and
we
Courage
still
Award.
always maintain the cold
Nashali
chain.
says so
And
many
I think
women have
that's
reached
super
out,
important
telling her
to
how
realize
her
that beer
actions
has to be
inspire them.
fresh.
I gave a lot of
And it's
women a
like any
voice.
craft product,
Those that were not able to speak up or say anything, now they feel so empowered to do
the
something.
better it actually is. And I
Nashali
think that's the
Alma.
beauty of a craft product.
Right, and that's the whole story about like the Royal Navy, right? Is why they switched over. You couldn't keep water for long periods of time on the ship. Beer
Yeah.
went stale, but spirits last a lot longer.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So
It's the
yeah,
same.
totally can understand that difference there between uh yeah, the freshness. I guess you can get away with a little bit of because spirits gives you a little bit of that leeway as opposed to
Beer.
yeah,
Yeah.
beer and so forth. So, all right. So let me see here. I'm just trying to queue up. So again, they're still giving me a hard time here tonight. So again, that's fine. I deserve it. I said I don't like making my guests feel uncomfortable. That's not what I'm. Not what
It's part of the initiation.
there you go.
That
Yeah,
means now that I'm initiated, you'll have me back.
that's right. It's right. Yeah, no, I trust me. There's lots of things that again I want to. I if you'd be interested again here again you're all hanging out in the chat here, so I don't know who all still in there hanging out. Let me see real quick. All right, so we got a few that are still hanging out. Uh, I think Christiane, I think it'd be really cool. I've been sitting on this one for a while. Is just solely have a distillers roundtable
I would love that.
with
Definitely.
with other distillers, ones that are making their own products. I did that like at the end of the first year, and back in 2020, we did a little end of the year kind of a like you asked me earlier about Zoom. It was a Zoom kind of hangout, and different folks that had joined that were guests that were on the in that first year of the podcast, and it was such a eclectic group, and it was kind of cool because you got a guy who was a drummer and a couple of musicians, and then we had a guy, Jeremy Craig, he owns Copper Bottom Craft Distilling in Holly Hill, but it's just right. It's near Daytona Beach to kind of give a frame of reference. He was hanging out there one night because he was at the distillery making, I think he was making vodka. They make a vodka also, just because it's easy enough to make, right? And so he was there one night late, so he was able to hang out with us, and so drummers were asking him some questions and vice versa, and I was like, this is so cool. You're bringing two different worlds together that nobody probably would ever thought to kind of mix the two, and then here they're learning each other, they're checking this out and that out, and I'm like, that's super cool. So yeah, so I think I'm hopefully nobody steals my idea. But yeah, I think bring all of the distillers back on again. Those that have been on the show, been part of the alums, right? And again, be able to share. I had a couple weeks ago was JJ Jackson, the high and angry guy, and he was on the show Master Distillers back in January. The show aired, and he makes his own stuff. He's small, and he's kind of have somebody where he can make it get it made someplace. Obviously his recipe. Um, and I told him he shared the same story. I think I may have told you that was the same story about making craft beer. What the industry was going to start, how craft beer was going to start happening very similarly, like the interesting craft spirits.
Mhm.
And I sent him the link to the podcast before I even dropped, and I said, hey, I said, listen to this. I said, I think you're going to like this episode because there's a lot of things that you were talking about. Our guest here, Christiane, is also talking the same thing about her craft products too. Uh, so so super excited about stuff like that. But let me see if I can wrap up here. So while I'm just kind of doing a little bit of housekeeping, Christian, is there anything you want to kind of mention there? Um, for the the viewers there hanging out there.
No, I mean just that I guess I will promise. I'll make a promise that as soon as we have plans to come to the States, I will let you know, and you can tell all of your community.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Yeah, we definitely. and we definitely can come down and maybe we should do an event down in Miami. I don't mind traveling the show and doing certain things. That's one thing. Again, I as I mentioned earlier, I get myself into trouble because I have all these grandiose ideas, and then I get myself in trouble because it's like, oh, wait a minute, oh, I forgot how
I
to.
love that idea. We can do a little bar takeover somewhere.
Oh, that
I
would be
could
awesome.
maybe
Yes,
even bring one of my mixologists up from Panama, and we can do some Pedro cocktails.
that would be awesome. Yes, I'd be so down for yes, for sure. So I think if Nia,
Okay, it's a plan.
it's a plan. I love it when a plan comes together, as they said, right in the A team.
Exactly. The date team. I love that.
All right, so I hopefully Nia's still in the chat and she heard all that. She's like, wait a minute, don't forget about me. So all right, so we're
Yeah,
we're
he
gonna
is awesome.
we're gonna go ahead and do our little transition here. So this is part of the show. There, we talked about our what the Florida segment there, or our Florida man story here. So here we go. We're gonna play a little bit of our Florida man story, Florida woman story, since it's International Women's Month.
This just in. Breaking news about this week's Florida man. Now here's Paul Robertson.
Our Florida woman story of the week here. Florida woman awarded after fighting off attacker in the gym. So I'm pretty sure most people have probably seen this story now on the news. This unfortunately happened in Florida. So what else is new? Crazy shit happens always here. And this was a story of this girl was working out in the gym at her place, and this dude came in because she was by herself, and this is the story. So here is the story of our Florida woman. Deputies: woman fought off man who attacked her at a Tampa apartment complex gym. Xavier Thomas Jones was charged with sexual battery, false imprisonment, and kidnapping. Deputies in Hillsborough County say a woman fought off and escaped a man. Oh my Jesus! Let me read that again. This is what happens in drinking rum. Deputies in Hillsborough County say a woman fought off and escaped a man after he attacked her at the gym at her Tampa apartment. That didn't make sense, and I read that correctly this time. On January 22nd, Nishali Alma, 24, was exercising alone before she opened the door and let Xavier Thomas Jones, 25, into the gym at the Inwood Park apartment complex because he was someone that she'd seen in the gym before. The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office said in a news release. When Alma went back to working out, Thomas James walked up to her and then tried to grab her wrist, but Alma yelled and told him to get away from her, law enforcement says. Thomas Jones then chased her around the gym, video shows. The 25-year-old grabbed Alma and pinned her to the gym floor, a surveillance video shows, but she continued to fight him off while trying to call 911. He grabbed me and I'm like, heck no, it's game time, Alma told Tampa Bay 10. I took my phone, I smashed his head and punched him. I knew I had the strength, I knew I could fight, and I wasn't going to let this man win at all. After some time, Thomas Jones let go of Alma, and then she immediately ran out the gym to a close apartment, authorities say. After Alma's experience, she is now encouraging other women who find themselves in a similar situation to fight with everything they have. Always fight, never stop fighting, because where there's a will, there's a chance you'll get out of the situation. Just don't give up, she said. She is encouraging those with similar experiences to speak out and report it to police. It's better to reach out to law enforcement sooner than later. The sooner they have the information, the sooner they can catch that person. Deputies say that they arrived at the apartment complex to investigate the assault. They were able to locate Thomas Jones and arrest him in less than 24 hours after the incident. I was disgusted by the suspect's actions, how he preyed on this young woman, Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Cronister said in the statement. I'm grateful that she came forward. I know her story is going to be an inspiration for other women. Thomas Jones was charged with sexual battery, false imprisonment, and kidnapping. And of course, you can see the story on all over the internet there. So, cheers to you, Nishali Alma. Cheers to you, our Florida woman of the week there, for standing up for yourself there. I think that's an awesome story there. Talk about, you know, just
Strength.
not taking shit from guys, right? Yeah. This is what happens. He's such a tough guy, right? To I don't know. Don't get me started.
That's a great story. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely an empowering story.
Yep. Yep. So, so yeah, I think again, I know we're running a little bit overtime here, and I know it's kind of getting late. So I definitely want to honor and respect your time, Christian, and I appreciate everyone's who's tuned in tonight for hanging out with us, and yeah, just kind of having a great time, learning some new, some new stuff, new products, new, and find out how I can, and, unfortunately, make people feel uncomfortable on the show.
No,
So
I feel very honored that you had me. So thank you.
yes, I know I appreciate it. I definitely again, it's enough of a show to just kind of hang out, and again, at you as you said, initiation. We both got to be able to give each other, as they say, a little shit, and then but yet
Exactly.
no, it's all in love, and it's all for good clean fun, and so forth. So let me see here before I wrap up here. So yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and do our little bit close out here. So for some of our shameless plugs here, I got stuff showing up on the screen. I have no idea what's going on there. Try to clean this stuff up. Oh, see, this is what happens. Let's see. Oh, there we go, all fixed. All right, so there. So let me give some shout outs there to some of our friends of the podcast here in the show here. So Jams and Coffee. Check out Brad Brock every morning, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. over on YouTube. He does a 1 hour show in the morning to wake you up and get you going there. Also, Brad does a Jams and Cocktails Wednesday night show. That's a live show. These are live shows that he does. So it's a nighttime show at 8 p.m. every Wednesday. And also our rum posse, as we call it, is Nia from My Rum Diaries. There's Jason the River Pirate. He was in the chats here tonight. And also Ready Set Rum, Johnny from Ready Set Rum, and the Just Drinking guys, Roger and Cole. Also House of Beer, Wine and Spirits. So there is Mario there. Thanks for hanging out there in the chat with us there. He said, incredible story and absolute inspiration. So yeah, if you're looking for distribution, or if you're a restaurant looking for new products, definitely hit up House of Wine, Beer, and Spirits. They've got some products there, wine, beer, and spirits, and so forth. They do local distribution here in the West Palm, South Florida area, and they do also offer uh, all sorts of services that the big distributors do not offer. So they are very boutique to offer you more of a concierge kind of style service. And also there, I just missed there on there was also Sandy Bottle Sips. They are located here in West Palm Beach. They are a retail store. They actually have an event coming up tonight, and in their shop there. So 1101 Clare Avenue, West Palm Beach, down in the warehouse district there. So they got a cool little taste, try before you buy event there. So again, they're a mom and pop shop as well. Support, like as I mentioned, I love supporting those. That God, man, that looks like I'm like getting blasted by the light there. Oh, now that looks terrible. Now, okay, is that better? Now it looks like now I'm real terrible now. I'm like creeping in the corner. I'm the guy creeping in the corner of the gym, I guess. All right, let me finish. Let me finish this up now. Yeah. So anyway, so yeah. So Jams and Cocktails. Check out and if you do listen to the podcast, if you know the opening song of the podcast is "Once Upon a Bottle of Rum." That is Brad Brock. He's a musician also. He's got a lot of great stories. And big shout out, big props to Brad. And I do a lot of other stuff as well too. So go support him. He's a local musician. Again, he's musician has material out there, so go download his stuff there. And again, I think I've made a full circle now on all the little plugs there. And then last but not least, our last plug of the night here. We want to thank Christiane coming on the show here, having a great time, having a good time, being fun sport. Trying some of the rum, listen to some stories. And yes, we can't wait till the product comes up here, Christiane. Again, we whatever you need support with, we can always connect or bounce ideas, and especially in South Florida. So, but yeah, so you get to have the last word, Christiane.
Oh, wow. Well, I just want to thank you all. And it's been fun. It's super fun being initiated into this tribe. I feel like I'm initiated. And yeah, and I would love to just continue being a part of it. So I'm subscribed, and I will hopefully see you all in the next chats.
Yes. All right. Yeah.
Very
So,
cool.
yep. Everyone said thanks for overtime, Christiane. Always had a blast hanging out with you, Paul, and you and Paul. And then said Really enjoyed both shows tonight. Had a lot of fun and learned a few things. So thanks, Sean, and also there, Philip. Their fun show and interesting info. Thanks again, and Nia. Yes, thanks, Christiane, for being available live. Yes, so definitely we had a great time tonight. So yep. So definitely next week we're going to be on the road. So we're not going to be all super fancy like tonight is. That I screwed up totally. Next week I'm actually going to be up in Orlando area. So we're going to do our live show. Uh, we may have next week's guest. So again, only Nia knows who the next week's guest is. Well, Sean might also, but we have next week's guest who they might be on the happy hour next week, and I may also at the same time somehow have got an Irish guy showing up possibly too next week. So I don't know exactly how I'm going to do two guests, in a scale down version of this show, while sitting in a hotel room in Orlando at the robotics competition. But yeah, so if the Irish guy shows up, so if you go and check out the episode of, and I don't remember the number, but go check out the episode. It says I think it's Grab Your Rum Passport, and that's with Steve and oh my God, I'm drawing a blank now. But anyway, so the Rum Rats. So we got a chance to talk to them back in November. Steve, one of the guys, and is part of the company. He's the Irish guy. He's got such an accent. So go back and go listen to that episode. It's hilarious because he tells a story about he walked into Whiskey Fest in Belfast with a bottle of rum, and they basically said, "Are you kidding me? You're walking into Whiskey Fest with rum?" And he says, "Well." He goes, "I want you to try it and tell me what you think. If you're gonna like get some credit, credibility." And they said they were totally blown away. And then so anyways, he's got a great accent. That's why hopefully he's come on because St. Patty's Day is next weekend. What better ways to have an Irish guy with an accent that's you know I understand a little bit because I'm Scottish, but anyway, so definitely tune in. And then the 23rd, March 20th. Let me look at the calendar. Yes, March 23rd is bingo night. So again, if you guys want to play bingo, you either it's a Cash App thing or the Patreon. So become a Patreon member. Again, you get some exclusive stuff like I dropped today about some upcoming things we got going on there. So that's my last shameless plugs. Again, thank you, Christiane, for coming on here.
Thank you, and thank you also to Nia.
Yes, Nia. Big shout out there. Hold on, we're gonna give Nia the special one here. Big air horns for Nia. So yes, thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. I know we went a little bit long here, and again, thank you, Christiane. I know it's getting a little late for us here. So and again, I appreciate you had a blast. I can't wait to hang out with you in person. So
Me too. I'll drive up to you guys and we can do the round table in person.
excellent. Now that's it. Yes, that's it. Let's sold. So
Super fun. You
yes.
guys are all awesome.
So
Thank you so much. Thanks, Paul.
bye, Christiane.